For the next 5 days, Edmund and Louise will be taking part in our diet swap experiment, where they'll exchange a typical week's food intake, meal for meal. The swap will be overseen by Dr. Christian Jessen, who's hoping to shock Supersize and Superskinny into changing their bad habits. This week's Superskinny is Louise. She's a waitress whose hectic job means she barely eats to live.
Being a waitress, I'm on my feet most of the day. Whatever I do eat is burnt off pretty much straight away.
When Hartlepool lass Louise does get home, eating's a chore, so her diet's made up of anything bland and quick.
Beans on toast, it's easy. Oven-ready meal, that's easy. Soup's easy, anything that's easy and quick.
Sometimes you'd want to shake her and say, come on, Louise, you know, get something down, yeah? But you can't force her. She's got to want to do it for herself.
Louise links her bad dietary habits to early childhood experiences of mealtimes.
On an evening, I'd have cornflakes and avoid having what my mum would cook me. And if she'd sometimes say, you're not moving until you've eaten that. So I'd stick my hands in it, play with it, you know, and then she'd say, well, you can't eat it now, you've had your hands in it, put it in the bin, and that would be my way of getting out of eating.
Louise, I'm Christian. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Okay.
Let's start straight away with the height and weight bits, OK? So take your dressing gown off, stick it on the chair. If you stand on there. You weigh 97 pounds.
At a tiny 6 stone 13, Louise has slipped under what is considered to be a healthy BMI.
What kicked off these bad eating habits that you have?
From a child, I've never eaten much. I've always tried to miss meals when I was a child.
Why was that?
I don't know, I just wasn't a lover of food. Never have been.
And what about the health side of things then?
The health side, I have bad skin, I'm pale, circled under my eyes. I'm always tired.
What would you like to get out of this week?
Change my attitude towards food, have more knowledge about food, and maybe I'd find a love of it and accept that you have to eat.
As Louise fast approaches 30, she's desperate to change. The years of bad eating have left her exhausted, and now they're destroying her self-esteem.
When I look in the mirror, I feel disgusting, really. It's just bones and a young person's body. I don't see a woman. I'm looking to be a mother in the future, and I don't feel mothery. I feel like a kid. So I'm more worried now than I've ever been about my weight. I just think, look, now's the time to change, because if I don't do it now, I never will.
But help is at hand for Louise in the form of Supersize Eddie from Milton Keynes.
378 pounds.
Eddie tips the scales at a whopping 27.5 stone, and he's a ticking time bomb. With a history of high blood pressure in his family, he needs to radically change his diet before it's too late. Biker Eddie's bad diet begins at 6:30 a.m. with a burly breakfast.
A typical day's food for me would usually start with the leftovers from the night before, whether that be rice, noodles, meats. If I have leftovers and there's not quite enough, I'd throw in another packet of noodles just to bulk it up.
If you're having a Chinese takeaway the night before and you think, oh, I'm full, and it'll all get scraped in a bowl and you'll go, ah, lovely, that's breakfast.
Working as an IT programmer gives Eddie an ample excuse to indulge his enormous appetite.
Mid-morning snack, it would be a packet of crisps and some biscuits maybe. And then for lunch, it will be again rice, noodles, meat dish. And then in the afternoon, packet of crisps. And then when I'd get home, a tray of chicken breasts, noodles, and then a glass of wine, maybe a beer.
39-year-old Eddie's been eating this way ever since he can remember.
My mother and father both enjoyed cooking. Grew up in a big family, so therefore food was a big part of the day. We weren't very well off, so we had to have bulk foods. And then as I grew up, as money became better, and we started having things like rice, chicken, and that was a luxury food. So therefore I think because it was such a luxury for me, That's why I eat so much of it now.
Right, Edmund, I've done my sums, and your BMI comes out at 55. Anything above 40 we call morbidly obese because there's a significant risk of disease and actually death as a result of weight. You're very nearly off my scale, which is worrying. You've got high blood pressure?
Yes.
Already diagnosed, and that's something that runs in your family?
Yes, I'm not sure about my mum. She died quite young. But my dad, he had high blood pressure, was diagnosed with hypertension, and so is my older brother and my elder sister.
Your weight is absolutely going to make it 100,000 times worse, and also 100,000 times more likely that you're going to run into problems as a result of having high blood pressure. But I'm hoping that you're slightly aware of that because that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
Why have you not been able to do anything about it?
Laziness. I think I got into a habit and I didn't see a need to break that habit until now. I know I'm killing myself if I carry on like this.
And as Eddie reaches 40, for him, it's now or never.
It's causing me pain. I can't be comfortable when I'm laying down, seated, standing. I can't walk from A to B without being in constant pain. Being as big as I am at the moment, carrying this much weight, means that I will probably not make another 40 years.
Eddie and Louise are extreme opposites, but they're about to come head-to-head.
I'm Eddie.
Louise, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You're absolutely tiny, look at you. I didn't realise until I met her just how small somebody could be. Yeah, they really are super skinny. It's a tiny little arm.
He's tall and he's quite manly, and I just felt like a little child stood next to him.
It may seem drastic, but swapping diets is the last resort to getting Eddie and Louise to think about their intake of food.
Louise, we're going to start at breakfast. I think that's coffee. Sometimes I think you just have a coffee on its own, don't you? Yeah? Nothing else? Otherwise, it's a bit of toast. Anything on it?
Marge, maybe.
Maybe your lunches are a bit more substantial. That looks like a soup. Half a sandwich? Not a whole, why half a sandwich?
One fills me.
All right, let's have a look at your dinners. There we go. Oh, I'm quite surprised by that. Crisps and sweets. Explain yourself, Louise. You can't, can you? Does that strike you as a proper dinner?
No.
No?
No.
Let's have a look at the other things. Oh, look, what a surprise. Another sandwich. How does that look to you now?
Looks enough.
That looks enough. Are you serious? I'll tell you now, as a doctor, this is not a healthy diet. There is no variety. You're getting through about 900 calories a day.
An average woman should consume 2,000 calories. Not only is Louise under-eating, she's also missing out on most of the vitamins and minerals her body requires.
Let's start with breakfast for you, OK? Oh, yum. Now, Edmund, you are the leftover king, aren't you?
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
Chili con carne and rice?
From the night before?
Yes.
That looks like scrambled egg on toast. OK, that's a more breakfasty thing.
Yeah.
Good. All right, well done, well done. Oh, is this more leftover?
It is.
All right, so, lunches. Wow, that's a big lunch. More sandwich, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's move on, Edmund, to your dinners. Yeah. Here's more noodles, which we had down there right at the start.
Scotch eggs and a pasta salad.
Scotch eggs and pasta salad, a few more chips. You're getting through an average of about 4,300 calories every day.
When you see it like that, it's confirms the reason why I'm here.
Thanks to his gigantic diet, Edmund is clocking up over 4,300 calories a day, which is getting on for double the daily intake required for a grown man.
So, it's diet swap time, and you now are officially swapped from this moment on, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
I'm very nearly at the end of my epic search to find out if it's possible to turn an ordinary wobbly body like mine into a honed, taught, celebrity-perfect machine. And what a journey it's been. I have found a whole host of tips, tricks, quick fixes and tons of exercise to tone up every single inch of my body. And that is exhausting. First stop was the gym with my hunky personal trainer, Matt. But somehow the gym and I were never going to be best friends. I hated that. Hated it. So, along the way, I also had a go at all manner of other exercises to get myself looking lean and mean. One of my favourites was the new exercise craze that is Jacari. I did one. Do you know what? That might look really easy, but it was incredibly difficult. And then there was ballet. Now, don't pretend you weren't impressed.
And legs onto the bar. Arms in anchor on, reach up and lengthen the spine, and stretch over.
This is as far as I can go. I also tried a form of Pilates, which I thought would be gentle and relaxing. You see, when people talk about Pilates, I always think, whatever, a couple of toning exercises in front of some morning television, big deal. Not so with bootcamp Pilates. It looked like medieval torture equipment, and it was honestly one of the hardest workouts I've ever had to do. I'm going to cry. Oh, it kills. Let's be honest, girls, those poses are not for the faint-hearted. If you've had a baby, you'll be used to it. I haven't, and I tell you, it was a shocker. On my quest to discover how to get the perfect celebrity body, I also witnessed the very latest and often fairly extreme treatments out there.
Wow. Yeah. It is definitely peachier.
Yep, an injectable buttock enlargement procedure. But it was actually a reduction on the breasts that really freaked me out. Really weird. Really, really weird. The conclusion I rapidly reached was that if it takes too much effort or looks too painful, it really ain't worth it. And hence I was delighted to discover a few quick fix solutions.
It's now 29 instead of 29 and a half.
So I've lost half an inch. That's unbelievable.
That's it. Finished.
I'm very impressed. One session in, and we were saying, well, hopefully we'll see a difference.
And within 3 weeks, it will keep on improving.
Really?
Yeah.
However, I'm on my way back for more of one particular activity I discovered and fell in love with on my quest for bodily perfection. And later on, you'll see more of that. And more of me.
This week's feeding clinic residents are hectic food hater Louise and leftover king Eddie. It's dinner time and their first meal of the swap. Overeater Eddie doesn't disappoint with a mountain of chili con carne, which will keep Louise going for weeks.
I'm so sorry, Louise.
Stop.
While Louise gets enough food for 3, Eddie is getting just enough for 1 toddler.
Here's to the beginning of the end. Cheers.
Cheers.
How long would it take you to eat this normally?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Even while I was eating it, I was feeling hungrier and hungrier. Wasn't feeling like I was actually eating at all. There was no substance to it whatsoever.
But just a few minutes into her first meal, and Louise is ready to quit.
I'm finished.
It's beat you, has it?
Mm-hmm.
Louise gives her chili the cold shoulder without really giving it a go.
It was a struggle, it was. It's just made me feel sluggish and tired.
It's day 2, and before breakfast has even kicked off, it's filled Louise with dread.
I don't normally wake up as much as I did last night. Worry what I was going to have for breakfast.
She may have refused to finish her dinner last night, but Eddie's giving it another go. For Louise, it's chilly again.
So is this all the leftovers from last night?
That's the leftovers. Happy breakfast.
Despite being hungry, Eddie's suffering his liquid-only breakfast in silence. In fact, silence seems to be the order of the day, as Louise attempts to force down a small mouthful of her chilly breakfast. While Eddie is coping with his hunger pangs, Louise isn't coping at all and heads up to her room.
I get the impression that Louise is struggling with it at the moment. It may well be that she's just not acclimatised into the process as quickly as I am.
It's just a lot of focus on eating. It's quite uncomfortable.
Louise is having second thoughts about taking part in the swap.
Feel tired, headache, regretting it.
Louise pushes herself to face lunch.
You've got chicken and noodles with oyster sauce, with some of the chicken in tortilla wraps.
With 2 failed meals behind her, could Eddie's stir-fry stir Louise's appetite?
Seeing the side of it puts me off. Makes me feel full before I actually am full.
So that's a no, then. Meanwhile, Eddie's getting his first proper solid food in 24 hours. It's just half a tuna and cucumber baguette.
Not a big fan of cucumber.
What's making you eat it?
The reason I'm eating it is that it's part of your diet, it's part of the diet swap, and I signed up for the whole thing.
Louise is still not getting into the spirit of the swap. For Eddie, going so long without food has made him confident he can crack his bad eating.
I don't think I would actually choose to go 24 hours without eating, but after day 2, I've found that I can do without more food and make do with less. Actually seeing the portion size this time, for me, I'd say that I realise now that it's far too much.
After just a few days in the house, Eddie's exploring his relationship with food. He's hoping that by sharing some childhood memories, he can get Louise thinking about her eating habits too.
Money was really tight because my dad was laid off work. So we all used to go down to my auntie's house and congregate around there and pool our resources and have big family meals. I love this picture. That's me and my mum. You can see from this picture that I'm starting to put on quite a bit of weight. And it was back then, people used to say, oh, you're a big lad, you need a big portion. So you'd have a man-sized portion even though you was still a relatively young lad.
For Louise, remembering her one-parent childhood is more painful.
I don't remember these. I remember this one. I turned into a little poser around 9 or 10 and wanted pictures took of me because there was never any around the house. Mum didn't take pictures, keep photo albums, anything like that. I was a small child. I think I was naturally small, naturally slim, but even at this age I'd never liked food. You can see I'm quite slim. And just never liked food, never had an interest in it.
Was that because of the way your family group interacted around food?
I don't know, it was only really ever me, my mum and my brother. Never really had big meals, didn't look forward to eating, would just eat. Would never have occasions where it was a dinner party or a family meal again, because there was only 3 of us, but...
think we've touched slightly on some of the darker and happier days for Louise, and possibly the part of her life that she isn't ready or prepared to share with us.
But Louise does eventually return to admit she's discovered a connection between her unhappy childhood and the reasons behind her hatred of food.
Sorry I walked out.
It's okay.
It's just looking at the childhood pictures, I don't feel that I was loved when I was a child, so I think maybe I used food as a reward and felt that I didn't deserve food. And maybe I've carried that on to my adult life, and it was just a bit upsetting.
Louise has found the swap very tough, but is now realising why she's eating badly, and this will hopefully spur her into eating more. Eddie, however, seems to be finding it all a bit too easy, so Christian has a wake-up call from America.
Tell me how the week's going.
Surprisingly well. It hasn't affected me as badly as I thought it was going to. I've never had any crisis moments.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot about myself.
When you're home, you're going to be on your own. You're going to be having to do all this yourself. The temptations are going to be all around. You've got years of habit behind you and only a week here to try and change those things. So I need to do a little bit more with you. The plan is if things later on do start to slip, I want you to think back to this film.
Aloha, my name's Quentin. I'm 40 stones. This is my story. I got big because my appetite was big. I would always ask for seconds for breakfast, seconds for lunch and dinner. It's hard. It's like you're addicted. It's like a drug user or alcoholic. You can't break that habit. It's a hard habit. The bigger I got, the more health problems I got. Since I'm so big, my blood and fluid can go down, but it has a hard time coming up. So it'll build up in my leg, and it will swell up. And I ended up in the hospital. And they told me, you know, we're gonna have to cut your leg to release the pressure. If they didn't do that, it would cause serious nerve damage. So they did, and I was in a coma for 4 days. And then it happened again. Back in the hospital, same leg. The surgeon told me, I'm gonna take your leg the next time you come in here. Either that or you're gonna die. This is the needle. Everything's all sterile and clean. The injections are for blood thinner. It's for my blood to flow easier, so I don't get blood clots in my legs or my lungs. Because blood clots, you can actually die from them. And I recently had a friend who died from a blood clot in his leg. He was big, but not as big as me. And when he died from that, that was just like, oh, whoa. If you do it wrong, you get bruises like this. It does hurt. Being my size, there's lots of things that's difficult for me. Taking a shower, just being hugged. To have somebody to wrap their arms completely around you, that's a blessing. I never ever had somebody hug me completely, you know? And I can't wait till that day. I will say, Edmund, make the right choices in life. You are in charge of your life, so it's you that make the choices on putting the right food or the wrong food in your system. Then look at me, I made the wrong choices. Don't wait till it comes too late. Don't take life for granted. Life is too precious.
I could relate to him.
Tell me what's upset you so much.
Just seeing him putting that needle in his belly. The last time I saw my dad alive, he showed me the exact same bruises. For the exact same reasons. And I know that part of my problem is with my high blood pressure. I thought I was getting away with it easy, to tell you the truth. I thought my body was adapting well to the extremes that it's gone through. But that video has just really, really brought it home.
Eddie's mulling over Christian's warning, but Louise has been doing some serious thinking too.
Hello.
Hiya.
Just thought I'd come and say that sorry for being a grump all week. The reason I've been so grumpy and kind of reserved is I felt if I let go, then I'd crumble into pieces and I'd be worried how I'd get myself back together. So I have been kind of holding back because I didn't want to face the emotional side to everything, and I was worried that if I cried, I wouldn't stop. So
yeah, so glad that you've actually, you know, you've actually accepted it in, you know, the information in, and that you're getting something out of it. Because I was worried about you at times.
Thank you.
Good night.
Hectic food hater Louise and leftover king Eddie are taking part in our week-long diet swap experiment. So far, Eddie has got to grips with portion control.
I realise now that it's far too much.
And Louise reached an emotional milestone.
Looking at the childhood pictures, I don't feel that I was loved when I was a child.
It's the end of the week. So far, Louise has not learnt to love food. This breakfast is her last chance.
Well, bon appetit.
This is nice.
Yeah? Good.
I will actually cook this in the future.
Yeah? Well, happy.
Like eggs on tortillas, it's nothing. I'd never have thought of that.
All done? Enjoy that?
Don't I enjoyed it? Thank you, it was lovely.
Cracking.
Louise is finally on track.
It was nice, and seeing him cook it was quick and it was easy, so I think I'll probably have that in the future.
Eight weeks ago, Fiona, Morag, Ashley and Roz embarked on a course of therapy to tackle their eating disorder, anorexia nervosa.
To me, anorexia feels almost like a mask that I wear. I feel like I can't quite break through that mask and show people who I really am.
I have forgotten what it's like to be normal. I think I can see it and I can almost touch it, but I can't quite get there.
Go on then, throw it to me.
I hate myself for my son not seeing me as the outgoing, vivacious, keen, full of life person that I was.
I suppose what I take heart from is that I've not always been like this, and I know how fun-loving and how easygoing I was before, and that's what I hold on to. And I just want the real me back.
Today, for the final session of the course, the group are gathering for their last meal together.
The group have worked really hard over these last 8 weeks, and I'd like them to celebrate that fact. I've asked them to bring their friends and their families here today to have a meal in a restaurant. I'd like the group and those closest to them to start thinking about the future and the steps they might need to make towards recovery.
I'd like to think that today is going to be positive for Mum and Dad, with them meeting other people going through it and meeting other family members.
Adam's very keen to meet people who are in the same boat as we are, but it'll probably be quite good for him to get some support from people who are like him.
It's kind of nice to meet everybody's families, and it's nice to have Richard here with me for a bit of moral support.
Having my mum with me reminds me of why I'm doing it and what's important to me. So, yeah, feeling quite positive today.
So I've brought everybody here today to celebrate the hard work that everybody's put in over the last 8 weeks, and I wanted people's friends and family to be here to celebrate that with us.
To prove to themselves how far they've come, the group will be having a 3-course meal.
Could I have the butternut squash to start? And the leg of lamb for me.
And can I have the fillet of salmon, please?
Over the last 8 weeks, the group has overcome some huge personal challenges.
Thank you very much. Looks lovely, actually. Yeah, come on.
Ashley's food anxieties left him unable to cope with everyday life.
I literally have no idea what's in any of this. I'm just trying to get out of here. Just get whatever I need and just, I don't really want to be here, to be honest.
But today, with his confidence growing, he's beginning to enjoy his food then.
Well, 8 weeks ago, Ashley wouldn't have even sat in a room with anybody in it, would you really? So to be around a table with all these people is a massive step, really. Yeah. Let alone eating lamb.
Yeah. So I'm getting greedy now. To be honest, I'm just turned into a pig. I think there is still that part of me that wants the lettuce leaf with a bit of tuna on it, but I just think it's outweighed now by the part of me that just wants to recover.
I think Ashley's beginning to realise that eating is just a part of life. It's not this devil that's going to destroy him. I do feel that together, recovery is definitely on the horizon.
Anorexics can recover. Recovery doesn't always mean losing all of your anorexic thoughts. But as you get better, so other emotional things, perhaps enthusiasms, interests and so on, begins to creep back and take over so that your life is not then dominated entirely by anorexic thoughts.
Do you like your salmon then? It's really nice, yeah. Love it.
Fiona's constant battle with her body image has shattered her self-esteem.
I think when I try and wear nice clothes, it's as though I'm trying to pretend that I'm attractive and I know that I'm not, so it feels like a lie.
But now, by taking a risk and trying new things, she's proving that she's moved on.
I've never tried butternut squash before. It's really nice.
Oh my goodness, I love this.
It's lovely. I think what I've started to learn is that it's okay to challenge yourself and even just pushing yourself a little bit, it's not going to make everything fly out of control.
I've seen a little bit of the old Fiona come back. She's enjoying herself a lot more. She's going out with her friends and she's becoming the old Fiona we used to know.
Nice, yeah, looks lovely. Ash?
Absolutely wonderful.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, absolutely
The
beautiful.
taste is nice.
Yeah, really nice.
At the start of the course, Roz's life was dominated by her obsessive fear of food.
We've already got oil on it.
But little by little, she's begun to face up to the challenges that lie ahead.
I have learnt a lot. If I can be reinforced and keep being reinforced, come on, Roz, come on, Roz, come on, Roz, then he's hoping I can do it. Yeah. He's hoping I can climb it.
You know, the end result has got to be worth it. It's got to be an improvement. It's got to be better. It's got to be worth it to try and get our lives back.
I have big hopes for the future that she will actually make a full recovery. You know, you've got to keep hoping that that's what you get to in the end. You're going to have something to look forward to.
The salmon tastes beautiful. It's really sort of delicate flavour. It's really nice.
I have got some seeds.
Morag was totally consumed by her illness, forgetting her true self-worth.
Dear Morag, I wanted to write about the things that make you who you are.
But now she's proved that by pushing herself, she can make important changes.
I have come a long way, and it's just shown me that actually taking a risk and doing something a bit different is not the end of the world, and you know I can actually handle it quite well.
When you're very close to somebody with an eating disorder, you get a sense of just how much of a struggle every single day is, and hopefully the time will come where you can be a bit more focused on the food that you like, not the food that's safe. And I think that's something that, you know, in the long run we'll be aiming for.
To end their last meal, the group are giving themselves one final push. Dessert.
That's beautiful. Oh, that's really nice. It really tastes cinnamon, though. Yeah.
Although recovery can be a really long and slow process, I'm really hoping that with the help and support of their families and the skills they've learned on the course, the group can go on and make a full recovery.
I'm looking forward to the future. I can see where I need to go. I can see the path in front of me. So it's just a case of moving forward now.
I am proud of what I've done. I've proved to myself that I can make the changes that I need to make, and it's just a question of keeping going with that now.
If people fear that they may be starting with something like this, they've got to get help immediately. And the longer it goes on, the worse it gets and the more entrenched it becomes. And that's when people start to die. And this is the reality. I do feel determined that I want to get better. There's no doubt about that. It's been too tough for too long.
I think I can definitely see me without anorexia. I'm going to prove to myself that the real me is still there and bring it on. Bring it on.
After 5 days, it's nearly time for Eddie and Louise to check out of the feeding clinic. Before they leave, Dr. Christian wants to give them their 12-week diet plans.
OK, well, it's your last day today. You've got there, you've made it through the entire week, haven't you? And you've survived. Was it tougher than you thought?
I found the hunger wasn't so much of a problem, but the emotional journey I took, I wasn't prepared for that.
You were raring to go almost from day one to make changes, weren't you? But I think with you, Louise, it took a little bit longer. There was quite a lot of barriers up at the beginning, weren't there? Is that fair?
Yeah, very much so,
Yeah, why do you think that was?
Just admitting I was wrong, I suppose, and facing the emotional aspect of it all. With food, for me, I think a lot of it's psychological, and facing that was tough.
So, the very last stage is now giving you your diet plans, which we've done for you. Edmund, that one's yours. Louise, obviously, that one is yours. They're really more about portion sizing, you know, you downsizing a little bit and not having masses of leftovers for breakfast, and you increasing the variety and increasing the actual amounts that you're eating. I hope you'll find them really doable. A really important thing I want to say to you now, this is not a competition and it's not a race. These changes I want you to make are changes now for the rest of your life. I'm going to see you in 12 weeks just to see how you're getting on. I hope it's all working well and you're finding it's easy and successful. If not, we can talk about why, but I think you will. And I think you'll do really well.
Right, see ya.
I've discovered that I don't have to react every time I feel like I need to eat something. Every time my stomach is saying to me, feed me, I can just ignore it. It's definitely given me the impetus to actually change my life.
I think if I concentrate on myself, then other things will start happening. I can visualise myself being a lot different. Not only with the diet change, just me as a person change. Like, if I ever think I don't deserve something, I'm going to give myself a good telling off and think, no, I do deserve that. Just go for it.
I have tried a lot of things in the spirit of attempting to hone and tone this body of mine. Some of it I've liked, and frankly, some of it has been vile. But the biggest surprise to me is that I've discovered an exercise that I really, really love. Surfing! Surf's up. Defeated! I have been properly bashed and pounded by the waves, and I couldn't get up! But it was still brilliant. What I love about surfing is that nobody cares what your body's like, whether you look good in a wetsuit, whether or not you can stand up on the board, it's all in the trying. And for the first time, I found an exercise that I really, really enjoy. So when I started this whole thing, I didn't really think about how much commitment it takes to get a celebrity body, but now I know, and let me tell you, it is a full-time job, it's a full-time obsession, it's a full-time nightmare, and it's one that I haven't got the time or the inclination to bother with. So, okay, I might have big bingo wings, I may have huge flabby thighs, I may even have massive, great big knockers, but you know what? They're mine, it's my body, and I love it.
Three months after first entering the feeding clinic, Edmund and Louise are back to see how they've got on.
Coming back today, I've not been anxious at all, really. I'm interested to actually see how much I weigh now.
I'm quite nervous because I don't think my weight gain is going to reflect how hard I have tried.
So, Louise, welcome back. 3 months down the line, and how's it been?
I have a lot more fruit and veg in my diet. I eat more often than I did, and just look at food in a different light completely.
Do you enjoy food more now?
I do. I wouldn't say I'm a lover of food yet. But yeah, I do certainly enjoy it more than I did.
Do you feel better at all?
Yeah, a lot better.
What's different?
Yeah. I just feel I've got more energy. I don't tend to sleep much in the afternoons as I used to. And I think I'm a lot more happier, and I don't know if that's because of the food or I know that I'm working towards my goal.
So, Edmund, welcome back here again, 3 months down the line. How's it been?
I feel a lot better. My fitness has come on leaps and bounds since going to the gym and changing my diet.
The sort of diet you were on from a medical point of view was disastrous. It was heart attack waiting to happen. Have you happened to have had your blood pressure measured at your GP's at all?
During the course of the 3 months, I had to have my blood pressure tablets renewed, and my GP was shocked because it had dropped right down to normal.
And how's your changing diet and changing lifestyle really affected your confidence?
Because of this process, it's given me the confidence to know that I'm losing weight and that I'm taking control.
Before Dr. Jessen reveals their results, Edmund and Louise are reunited.
Hi. All right.
How are you?
Okay.
Let's see you.
Been well?
Been very well. You're looking well.
Thank you.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
A lot better.
Yeah?
Within myself, yeah.
That's good. Be able to keep going, do you think?
Yes, most definitely, yeah. I'll just keep getting better. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
I think you've lost weight.
I feel like I've lost weight.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You look more relaxed.
Right. Coming in to butt my way into, guys. How do you think she's looking?
I think she's looking fantastic.
Yeah? Different?
Yes. Yeah, very much so.
And what about big man here?
Yes, he looks, again, relaxed and just more comfortable within himself.
So have the last 3 months paid off?
What about weight? What do you think? Do you think he's lost weight? Yeah.
Most definitely.
A bit? A lot?
I would say a fair bit, yeah.
I would say a fair bit too. In fact, I know you've lost 2 stone 5 pounds.
2 stone 5 pounds.
2 stone 5 pounds. You've lost 5 inches around your tummy.
That's low.
So you pleased?
Very.
Very pleased.
Very, very pleased. Nearly 2.5 stone. That's absolutely amazing.
So what about you, my love? What do you think? You're not so hopeful, are you?
No.
You don't think you've gained much?
No.
You've got on 8 pounds in 3 months.
It's good enough for me.
That's very good, indeed.
To know that I can make changes to my body makes me happy. I think I'm going to put a lot more weight on in the future. A good 8 stone will do me.
I am ecstatic about the results today. I never believed I'd lost that much. Never.